Hello, good week, everyone. Here we go. Shabbos Shalach. Just interesting Nakuda by this week's Pasha that Rabbeinu speaks about. He says that the Meraglim, they said it's a land that consumes its inhabitants. Eretz Yisrael is Eretz Ocheres Yeshveh. When said that was obviously a lie, but how is it possible that the Torah is a Torah Emes that would lie, write the lie of the Meraglim? What's the point? Just 1 second. So it says if the Torah writes that particular pasuk, that means there's emes to it. It says something which is true. And what it says is Es Yisrael, Eretz is a euphemism for Emunah. So Shchon Eretz, reside in the Eretz, and pasture Emunah. It says Eretz Yisrael is called the land that the Shem eyes is on it from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So Eretz is, as I said, a euphemism for Emunah. Rabbi Nachman is saying that when a person believes in something, he is consumed by this emunah, and he becomes what he believes in. And it's something that we see all the time. Eretz Yisrael, for its very nature is the union of emunah. So that's why in Eretz Yisrael it's a lot easier to be zoche to emunah, to be zoche to real faith. But when you come to think of it, it's any kind of emunah consumes and digests whoever it is that holds of that faith. And this is what it makes it. Somebody is, it believes in morality. It makes him immoral. Somebody believes in Nazism. It makes him a Nazi. This is somebody who believes that, is a leftist, makes him a leftist. But somebody believes, but it goes even deeper than that. You see, when somebody believes in something, anything, any kind of point of view, any kind of political view, any kind of information, facts or lies, that will be brought his way, will somehow be processed by that person's emunah and exacerbate it and make it bigger. In other words, if somebody believes that, there used to be a doctor that believed that the vitamin C, a mega doses of vitamin C would cure anything. That guy won 2 Nobel Prizes. He believed that, if you take mega dose of vitamin C, that no disease will come to that person. He happened to have died of cancer. But but the point is that somebody came to this doctor and told him, that he believed that his wife needed this kind of treatment, and he warned him that it's going to harm her. And he did, and it did indeed harm her. And the polyasa was that when the doctor told him, I told you this will do it. He says, the person said, imagine how much worse she would have been if I wouldn't have given her that. In other words, when a person has an emunah, any kind of facts, figures, truth, lies, that will come his way, will only fortify that which you already believe in. Very important nakuda to understand. That's why it is so imperative. It is so imperative to be close to Tzadikim Emes. So, B'ezrat Hashem, one of the things that I thought that we will do, we will read, obviously, Sipurey Baal Shem Tov, but in Mitzvah Hashem, we will also add to it stories from other tzaddikim, which is a very big inyan to say stories from them. I will talk to you about this particular sefer when we finish this story from the Baal Shem HaKadosh. Actually, I think the first story in the other book is also from the Baal Shem HaKadosh. So it's a night for stories from Sichos Haran. One time, the Baal Shem Tov was a guest in the Kilos Kodesh of Alek. And by Baal Bais, the Baal Bais went to the shul to hear the drasha from some kind of a guest darshan. And the Baal Shem Tov heard from outside that the darshan talks bad about Am Yisrael. And he says bad things about him. And he was extremely upset. Became extremely upset, and he ordered his Gabbai to go and call the Baal Bais that he should not stay to listen to the words of this darshan. So this Gabbai went and he told a few of the people. The Baal Shem Tov was upset about this darshan. So these people, one by one, slinked out until the darshan remained alone. So he stopped darshaning. So the next day, the darshan came to Baal Shem Tov to give him a shalom. And he said, "Down the darshan, why were you so upset at me?" Baal Shem Tov jumped on his feet, and his eyes, he started to cry. He says, "You are going to speak badly on a Jew?" He says, "You should know that when a Jew is going to the market, and before the evening, he sees somebody, he sees that he's late for mincha. He says, oy vay, I shouldn't pass the time for mincha." And he goes to a corner and davens mincha. He doesn't even know what he's saying. He says, all the heavens are shaken to their cores in that. And you're going to speak badly of a Jew? That's a story from our usual sefer, the Baal Shem Tov. This particular sefer is called Maase Tzadikim, together with Divrei Tzadikim and Maase Nisim. This is, so you can see what this sefer looks like. Now, this is an old sefer. It says beautiful stories, tremendous stories of Divrei Torah and Musar about the Baruch of Meshikosh, the Baal Shem HaKadosh, the Rebbe Melech of Lizhensk, Zusha from Anipoli, Pinchas Koritzer, Moshe Leb Sasaver, and the Choizer of Lublin, and so forth and so on. And then this sefer was written by the Rav, a Makubal. His name was Menachem Mendel Bodik from Lvov. And many tzaddikim held this particular sefer to be extremely precious by them. And so the stories, that are written in it, they're special in the fact that we're reading from them is extremely special. Since this Maase from the Baal Shem Tov that was in the town of Mezhibos, the Baal Shem Tov was there, as we know. There was one Talmid Chochem, was a big Yerushalayim that was learning nonstop, day and night, and he was extremely poor. He hardly had hardly a meal. And he would just, utilize, consume whatever it is he had. Somebody sometimes had Rachmanis on him, gave him a little tzedakah. This is how it was his parnasa. And that's parnasa that he gave his household. This is what they did. Now, his wife was also a big Yishmael, and she didn't push her husband. He's sitting, he's learning Torah. It's good for her. And but his children grew, and then his Sneezdike wife came to him and says, we have been talking to Kadosh Baruch Hu, but what can we do? Our children have come to age, and we have to marry them. We don't have not money or anything worth money. So, if you have any advice on what to do about this, husband told her, he says, what do you want me to do? Because Baal did not send. So now his wife was a big tzaddik, he had the most tzaddikim, and she believed, tzaddik Gadol was the Baal Shem Tov in their own town. And, he was a big Baal Moifis, and many people were, got Yeshuv in the fields of Hashem. And what Hashem said, Kodesh Baruch Hu did. So she said to her husband, listen, I know that you never lowered your head underneath anyone. But look, you see, there are many people that are big Yerushalayim, that they were helped by from his issues. And whatever he says goes, so just go ahead, maybe go, lower your head a little bit, lower your ego, as it were, and go, and he will daven for you, and B'ezrat Hashem, whatever he'll tell you, you'll do. So this time, Chacham went to Baal Shem, and he told him all the time. So Hashem told him as follows: listen, you should go to the town of Kozmir. And in the town of Kozmir, you look for a certain Baal Melacha, and he told him what his name was and what his father's was, and what his Melacha was. What his profession was. So I'll be able to know exactly who this man that he's looking for. And he says, and look, investigate who this person is and what he's all about. Now, this Talmid Chacham, accepted on himself, the arduous road, he didn't just go on a plane or in a car, it was, especially people like this, usually they walk from town to town. And he goes from town to town, from village to village. He came to the city of Kozmir. Now, and here comes a pauper, doesn't know anyone, and he went to a Beis Medrash to sit, just to rest a little bit. And he was, he was all Talmid Chacham, and he came to Beis Medrash, was filled with people, and he asked about that person. The Baal Shem Tov sent him, and the people said not only that he's not there isn't a person with that name in this entire town. They don't even know anybody like him. So, no, so that person sighed, this Talmid Chacham sighed. I mean, he went walk 60 kilometers by foot. He's going to find this person. At the end, can't even find him. Went to another Beis Medrash. Again, told the name of the person, name, his father's, what his malacha is. All the Simon about Shem Tov told him, and he couldn't find it. Until it became famous to all the people in the city. So then a few old people in the town came to him and says, Why are you asking about this person? That person that you're looking for is a Russian. He's a wicked person. It's already more than 60 years that he died. He's dead already for 60 years. It was a big Russian. And they told him what he used to do. There wasn't a single avera that this person did not do. Horrible things. Horrible things. Well, this Talmud did not say anything to these people, didn't answer them. He went to other elderly people. They also told him, awful things about this person. Russia, forget about it. You search on Wikipedia, the word Russia, you find this picture. Horrible. So this Talmid Chacham walked back home, no Yeshua, no nothing. And when he came home, to the big town to where the Baal Shem Tov was, he went to the Baal Shem Tov to ask him, what's his whole idea about this trip that you did in vain? And he told him, I went to this town and I looked for this person. What was his name, his father? Because it was already 60 years. The person is already dead for 60 years. It was a huge Russia. And this is what the people in town was like. He was legendary of how awful he was. So the Baal Shem Tov told him, you're a Talmid Chacham. You believe without any doubt in Yonah of Gegulim. So you should know that person that you asked about was you. It was you. And that 60 years, that person that died 60 years ago, they did not leave behind a single affair that he didn't commit. It is you. And you came now, this Gilgal, to fix whatever it is that you have ruined in the first one. What are you looking for now? You're looking for luxuries. You want to have some fun. You want to have some sushi. You want to have some gelato, Italian handmade ice cream. That's what you're looking for. So when that Talmid Chacham heard it, he became, he was staggered. And he asked the Baal Shem Tov, to give me a tikkun for everything that I've done. And he tied himself in Torah and Tefillah, kept on learning, great poverty, but a great asmada. And he became Al-Tamid Baal Shem. And from that particular story, a person should learn Musar to himself, not to whine over his fate. And just daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and trust him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will save you, because everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu does is right. It's not the usual Maase from Baal Shem Tov, right? Usually we are used to stories where, people come, Baal Shem Tov does this, and boom, boom, this is sure. Okay, these are other stories of the Baal Shem Tov. B'ezrat Hashem, next week we'll go from this sefer. We'll tell another story from a Gilgal from Rabbeinu Arizal. So let's, without further ado, as I say, we'll look at the Sichos Haran. You will excuse me if we will keep tonight's learning a bit shorter. I'm not 100%. I'm very strong antibiotics. So we'll keep it short and sweet. And chapter 128, Kuf Chaf Ches. Rabbeinu says, praised himself that he knew all the whatever was written in Etz Chaim, in Pri Etz Chaim, and all the Kisva Rizal, Zishon and Rocho, from the Sefer Azor, and the main thing that Tikkunim. Rabbi also said that he has never met anybody who was more well versed in Tikkun Zohar, which is probably the hardest sefer there is. Rabbeinu Kodesh, and it was quite obvious from the way Rabbeinu spoke about it that this took place when Rabbeinu was still very, very young, and in his teenage years. And Rabbeinu spoke many, many times in the praise of the greatness of the sanctity of the Tikkun Zohar. And Rabbeinu was learning and Misasek b'Tikkun Zohar all year long. Even everybody in Elul, it's customary for people to learn Tikkun Zohar, to go over Tikkun Zohar, to say Tikkun Zohar. But Rabbeinu was oisek with it throughout the year. And he said that in Tikkun Zohar, all the sciences in the world, all the mysteries of creation are embedded in Tikkun Zohar. So in order just to sort of put things in perspective, the Zohar Kodesh, by the way, you're seeing this bullseye here on my hand, just in case you're wondering. My cat scratched me and got infected. So the doctor made a circle around it to make sure, that it doesn't spread, to see if it's a cat scratch that can be dangerous. So that's why I look like, I don't know, like a Sioux Indian or something, I don't know. So, or Navajo, so anyhow, so the gift in the Zohar Kodesh is the limud of Rebbe Akiva. The Maase, Shem Bar Yochai learned all the words of the Zohar from his Rebbe, Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva did not have the permission to reveal the Zohar. Reb Shem Bar Yochai was the first one that got the permission to reveal it. And the revelation of everything that went through in Sefer Zohar was actually compiled over a period of 200 years. Rabbeinu said that Shem Bar Yochai was actually came to the his Talmidim after he passed away, and revealed more things to them which appear in the Sefer Zohar. But Reb Shimon Bar Yochai had his own chidushim, and the chidushim of Shimon Bar Yochai are not in the Sefer Zohar. The chidushim of Shimon Bar Yochai are in the Sefer Tikkun Zohar, and Tikkun Zohar is immeasurably higher and more exalted and more mysterious and hidden than the Zohar itself. Tikkun Zohar is the secret of the letters of the single first word of the Torah, which is more Bereshis. So when the letters can be written to make up different words, and every kind of combination of making up the word Bereshit opens up a whole world of secrets. In fact, Tikkun Zohar, practically every single sentence there is a teaching all its own. So you have Bereshis is Rosh Bais, the head of the Bais. Bereshis is Yereh Boishes, is somebody who is afraid of shame. And so, and all kinds of 70 conjugations of the word, combinations of the word, narrations. Each one is a secret that cannot be believed. I mean, that the human being was able to bring down to this world. Now, it is an immense thing to be able to take Tikkun Zohar, and the secret to be able to go through the entire Torah is a bookmark. You know, we all come, we take out a sefer, we take a look, we look at it, whatever it is, okay, we close it, put it back. We may or may not ever come again. What happens if you take this book out again? It's this sefer out again. What you do is you open up from the beginning, because you don't know where did you hold the last time. If you want to go through the entire Torah, you get yourself a bunch of bookmarks. You open up a sefer. It could be Chayvus Alavovas. It could be any sefer kodesh, and you learn as much as you learn. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is you can do. When you're done, take the bookmark, put it right there, close the sefer, put it away. The next time you come and you take out that sefer, you open up to your bookmark and you continue from there. With that eighth of bookmark, you'll be able to go through the entire Torah, entire Shas, entire Poskim, all Shulchan Aruch, all Kabbalah, everything. Bookmark. So I do recommend that you bookmark this idea and use this. Tikkun Zohar. If Rabbeinu speaks about Tikkun Zohar this week, it probably means that we should take Tikkun Zohar with a bookmark and start reading. If you can find it with a Targum, it is available. It is available. I don't know if it's English or not, but even if there isn't, just say the words that Tikkun Zohar says in the Aramaic is a great tikkun for your neshama. None of us knows how long we're going to be in this world. Not Shem until 120 years, plenty of time. But the trick is not to lose time. We're losing time all the time. But okay, we are who we are. We're dealing with who we are. Some person is relentless. Some person can't even get himself out of bed. It doesn't matter. You are exactly who you need to be. And it's wonderful. But nevertheless, it is imperative that we use the time in our hands in a productive manner as much as we can. So B'ezrat Hashem, your wishes. First of all, I want to wish each and every one of you a fantastic week. B'ezrat Hashem, this Monday, Be'ezrat Hashem Yisborach, we'll go back to Sipurey Maase, and we'll be having ourselves a good time with Hashem. So have a wonderful week, and whoever needs refuah, the refuah, whoever needs parnasa, whoever needs Torah will get Torah. The main thing, look for the true tzaddik, for the Ruach HaKodesh of the true tzaddik, so we can have our emunah cleaned, so we can be zeicher to be Jews the way that we're supposed to be. I wish you a very, very good week. Kol tov to everyone.